journal entries. Okay. So it says prepare the general journal entries that Svoboda County Regional Medical Center should make to record these transactions. So in number 1, Svoboda County Regional Medical Center's gross charges for services rendered to patients in 2008 were $82 million. So you could read the whole paragraph and aggregate this entry. Does that make sense? You could put it all together. Okay? What I've done is I've done each piece. Okay? So here, the first piece, I'm going to debit my accounts receivable, and I'm going to credit my revenue for patient charges. And these were all outlined at different points in the illustrative case back in your chapter, starting on page 720. Okay? Second piece of this 2.5 million was for services rendered to individuals who were certified by the county as having no means to pay. So that's where our revenue deduction for charity services comes in. Okay? So I'm going to debit revenue deductions. I'm going to lower or decrease my revenue by 2.5 million. I'm going to decrease my accounts receivable by the same amount. Right? So if I had aggregated these, I would reduce both of these numbers. Right? Rather than, actually I would reduce that number and I would record this reduction as an additional debit up here. Does that make sense? When I say aggregate, does that make sense?
Yeah, you aggregate.
So here you're making two separate entries to the same account. So rather than doing that, you could make a compound entry, right? And just lower the amount that you're debiting to accounts receivable, and include this revenue deductions to make the entry balance. Okay. The third piece says also contractual adjustments granted on services rendered to insured patients and Medicare patients during 2008 totaled $4.8 million by December 31st. So again, I have another revenue deduction based on contractual adjustments. So I'm going to debit that revenue deduction to lower my revenue or to decrease my revenue, and I'm going to decrease my accounts receivable. Okay? Again, you could have aggregated that up. It was estimated that another $350,000 of contractual adjustments would be made associated with those services. Because this is an estimate, I can't reduce my accounts receivable, but I can increase my allowance for uncollectible receivables and third-party contracts. Okay? So that's the entry I make. Back to revenue deductions, right? But my credit now is not to my receivable, it's to my allowance. Okay? Just like your allowance for bad debt, in this case, you're estimating that a third party is going to pay this money. So you're putting an allowance in there. The next piece, in addition, the hospital estimated that it will incur bad debt losses of approximately $3.2 million